we should be the narrow road, right? The narrow path. We should be sticking out anyway.
Yeah.
But how much more attractive can that be if the life we're living for the king is actually one that makes sense and is productive in contrast to a world that's just in chaos? It seems hardcore to say that some person's worldview is invalid, right? But when you look at, let's just say, the transgender movement, even on its face, even without a biblical worldview, you can understand that it's invalid because it's purely destructive. It's not procreative. It's not constructive. And unfortunately for men, we've been moved into this idea of, well, we're not hurting anybody. Yes, but we're not helping society. We're not furthering the kingdom. We're not building anything of value. And so we slip very quickly into that world of just an invalid life, right?
Yeah, it happens so easily because, and this is where I hurt for us, because of this technology and stuff that makes this stuff so available.
Mm-hmm.
And the video games are so good and so immersive and so involving. Like no generation has ever had to face this prior to like ours. Yeah. This is not normal. I feel for us. And again, if a young man isn't given a vision for life, it's awfully tough to like. I understand, and it leads to despair. Right. If you throw yourself into those things, you're going to feel meaningless because they are meaningless. It's a sucker punch. It makes you feel alive, and then it makes you dead.
Yeah. I was walking with my daughter in the mall the other day, and my oldest daughter, and we have an Apple store in our mall. So we walked by and she goes, "Oh, Dad, I really want to try out the Apple Vision." And I said, "Okay, no sweat. We'll go in." And they make you schedule a time for a demo, and it's a 15-minute demo. And she sat down and put on the Vision Pro and was walked through this demo. And I was just watching what she was seeing on a tablet. And this really weird emotion came over me. On one hand, it was pure dread. And on the other hand, it was like a light bulb went on, because at one time I could see that this was hugely powerful technology that was going to enable us to do things that were really productive. Like I could see surgery and warfare and things like this, where there are true like industrial uses for the technology. And at the same time, I watched my daughter, and it was like immediately she settled into that lower brain state and was being hit with this dopamine over and over and over and over again. And I thought, this is really, really dangerous. And so, you know, what you're talking about with video games and pornography and just non-productive activities, I think is even going to be ratcheted up to a level that we can't even imagine in the coming
100%,
years.
100%. And we have to, like, again, if you're not given a vision for why to avoid it, you're going to fall for it. Yeah. And I don't even, like, if somebody's not given that vision, then it's going to be more seductive, more and more and more. What I hope will happen is that people who are Jesus followers will be this weird alternate society that sticks out even more in a good way, because we don't do that, because we want to have life and life that's real.
Right.
So,
and we should be the narrow road, right? The narrow path. We should be sticking out anyway.
Yeah.
But how much more attractive can that be if the life we're living for the king is actually one that makes sense and is productive in contrast to a world that's just in chaos? This episode of Rapid Response was brought to you by CTC Math. Visit them at ctcmath.com today.